Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you so much for coming in this evening and all of my replay viewers. How you doing? Oh, I got this comb in my head. How y'all doing? Good evening. This is Adelaide Brown with Be Blessed Daily, and I'm so excited about being on this evening. I scoped a little earlier today, and I told the ladies that I would be getting back on this evening, getting back on later on to further discuss how our gifts make room for us and how we don't have to hold back on our giving. So for those of you who don't know who I am, again, I am Adelai Brown with Be Blessed Daily. And what we do at Be Blessed Daily is we inspire and empower women and girls to break through the glass ceilings in their lives and soar in their unlimited greatness. And I'm really excited about where I am right now in life because I understand the power of a testimony. And I got on Facebook Live earlier today, and I just wanted to get back on Periscope tonight and just really encourage you not to give up. I was encouraged today really strongly by a couple people not to give up, and I would like to do the same thing for you. I just want you to know that everything that you need and everything that you desire is right on the other end of you stepping out on faith and doing what it is that God is calling you to do. I spent some really good time with my mom today, and she thanked me for being patient with her. But I was being patient with her because of the support that she's giving me right now. So one hand literally washes the other. But when I take a step back and think about how for 17 plus years, she and I were at odds almost every single day. I'm talking every single day, some type of argument, some type of strife, some type of turmoil every single day. And to be where we are right now, it absolutely blows my mind. But I realized that I got there because I had to sacrifice my expectations. I had to sacrifice my pride. I had to sacrifice what I thought things should have been for what it is, so that I can have what I desire. And that's something I want to encourage you with, those of you listening on the replay. Remember, if you're feeling what I'm saying, don't forget to tap the screen. And, if I'm saying something that someone that you know could benefit from it, please swipe right if you have an iPhone and hit share, or swipe up if you have a Droid and hit share this broadcast. I would love for you to share this with your followers. But I realized that this relationship that my mom and I have, this restoration that's taking place, it came by way of both of us having to surrender the idea that I always need to be right. Having to surrender needing to be understood for understanding others, or at least attempting to do that. And that's something I want you to keep in mind. Many times in life, we go through things and people have did us wrong, or we feel like they've turned their back on us. But do you really take a step back and look at your place in the matter? Like, I'm not saying that you're wrong all the time. I'm not saying that you're right all the time. But sometimes it benefits you to see the situation from another perspective. And that's what we have to keep in mind. And that's why we have to trust the process. Like, you have to be okay with the fact that everybody isn't going to always like you. You have to be okay with the fact that you living the life that God has called you to live is going to cause you to have to step out of the box. You're going to have to go against the grain. You're not going to be following the crowd all the time. But you can't do that. Not if you're trying to live the authentically blessed life that God has created you to live. Those things don't go together. So I just wanted to stop by and really drop those nuggets on you guys. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Tomorrow and Friday, but I really want you to think about that. Like, a lot of us are in stress and strife and turmoil, and people will give you 6 steps to make $1 million and 7 steps to get the best man in the world and 8 steps to not be depressed. But it's all about what you're willing to do and also what you're willing to not do. And I want you to keep that in mind as you go through life. Don't believe the hype. You have to have an individual, intimate, unique relationship with God to truly get the understanding and direction that you need to have in life. And that's something I want you to remember, and that's something I don't want you to lose. You can have all the degrees in the world until you can have your own thermometer. You can have all of the certifications and all of the training in the world, but that stuff is no good if you're not founded in the creator of all of these things. And that's really what it comes down to. Hey Vanessa, how you doing? I'm so glad you can get on. I told you guys I would get back on. I know it's later, but had a really busy day. But I'm so glad you're able to get on. I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing wonderful. I was just talking about and telling the replay viewers about how I was spending time with my mother today, and she thanked me for being patient with her in the situation that we were in, but I had to thank her for being so supportive and patient with me. And I told her that I'm just thankful for where we are, but it's taken such a long time for us to get there. And for those who, may not be there, or it may not be an issue with their mother, but it could be an issue with a father, it could be an issue with a sibling, it could be an issue with a husband, the children, it could be an issue just with yourself, but I just want to encourage you, don't give up. Like, I just want you to know, and another thing that I just brought up that I wanted to share with you also, Vanessa, and anyone else who may be listening to this as well. I also wanted to, let you know that we hear, 7 steps to be a millionaire, 8 steps to get your dream husband and all of these other things. But nobody is really telling you the true catalyst. Like the Bible tells us, the Lord tells us, one plants, one waters, but the Lord provides the increase. Thank you so much for inviting your followers. One plants, one waters, but the Lord provides the increase. And we need to keep that in mind in every area of our lives. You may be planting some things and you may be watering some things in your life, but you have to understand that the Lord provides the increase. So you may have a situation going on in life right now where it's just like, what is going on? But you're planting and you're watering. And like I was talking earlier about that bamboo tree, like you really nurture this ground for 3, 4, 5 years and nothing comes up. Nothing. But when it comes up really fast. And that's the way God works a lot of times. Like we can't figure him out. If he's calling for us to do something, if we've already plugged that address in the GPS, she'll let us know within a quarter mile or a mile when we're going to need to turn again. But sometimes we just keep going and going and going. So, I just really want to encourage you. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Vanessa. And I'm it's good to know that you're feeling where I'm coming from. I just want to encourage you, everyone listening we have to be patient, but understand that there's an act in waiting. A lot of people feel like, hey, Nandy, how you doing? A lot of people feel like when they're waiting, they're doing nothing. No, there is an act in waiting. So even when you're waiting, hey, beautiful, how are you? Even when you're waiting with expectation. You're waiting and you're learning. You're waiting and you're training. You're waiting and you're pruning. Whatever it is that you can do in that wait time, do it so that you can have a container or a vessel to hold the blessing and abundance that God has coming to you. See, a lot of times we're in the wait time because God is testing us to test our character, to test our faith, to test our commitment to a thing. Will you stay committed if you get on Periscope and nobody's on there? I was on for a few minutes before you came on, Vanessa, but I was committed to what I was doing. And like yesterday, I didn't get on because I had to take a day off. And then about 12 o'clock, I was like, well, maybe I could have scoped and just told them that. So I'm getting better at it, but understanding that it's an act in waiting. And even in the waiting, you have things that you should be doing. You have things that you can be doing. And so that's the thing I think I hear a lot of people like, well, I don't know what's wrong with them. I've prayed about it and I fasted on that thing and I laid it on the altar and my pastor prayed for me and I don't know what more they want from me. I've given all that I can give. Usually when people are saying things like that, they've given all that they're willing to give. But God is requiring things from us that we're not so willing and readily, giving away. They're not readily available, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So I talked earlier about how my mom and I have gone through strife in my life for, almost 20 years. I'm 33 years old, and we've gone through things for just about almost 20 years. And for the past 2 or 3 years, 4 years in the making, but the whole time God has been working on us. But for the past 2 or 3 years, it's been more intense. It's like we know we need to do better, but both of us were so stuck in our old mindset. Like I needed to be right. Like, I needed to be let off the hook because you were my mother. You abandoned me. You neglected me. You didn't do what you were supposed to do. So you just need to deal with my attitude, and you just need to deal with my frustration because it's your fault. That's summing up. That's the mentality I had. I had that mentality while still sending out inspirational text messages to almost 400 people a day via my cell phone, 1,000 or so more via social media, being a Sunday school teacher, praying for people and doing all of that stuff, but I don't get along with my mama. So God was working on my heart because I didn't like that. I didn't like the hypocrisy of what was going on. But I also couldn't stay stuck and paralyzed in that. I had to keep moving. Or so I thought. Well, I did have to keep moving, but what I now know, because hindsight is 20/20, I was willing to give my time, my talent, my tithes in relation to my mother, but only as much as I was willing to do it. Because I felt like I've been taking care of her since I was 13 years old. I've been taking care of myself. I've been helping her take care of herself. So at this point in my life, she should be doing this for me. And she should be doing that for me. And she should be, all of these things. I felt like she should be pretty much paying me back. Reciprocity, like for the things that I put in, I should be getting these things back from her. Well, what God had to tell me was, I'm not God. Like, I'm not the judge. Like, I can't set those things in stone like that. Like, I need to come to him about it. And when I went to him, he pretty much told me, like, you need to humble yourself. And I didn't necessarily hear it verbally, but I heard it in the life experiences that I kept finding myself in. He would send people to tell me these things. And so what I'm saying is, a lot of us are out here like, I have changed, I have done what God has asked me to do. But what I'm saying is, he still wants more. He's still seeking more from you. He's still desiring more from you. And you have to be open to that. Don't reject it. Don't say, I don't have no more to give. I'm tired. I've done too much. These people keep doing me wrong. No, God is trying to get our attention about something. So let's stay focused on that. Let's stay anchored in our greatness. Let's truly trust the process. Even when the process, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Even when the process is in the valley of the shadow of death. Even when the process is when he leads you beside the still waters and through the green pastures. Even when he prepares a table before you in the presence of your enemies. You need to still trust that process. Don't give up on that process. So I just want to encourage you. I just really want to encourage you. I want to encourage you, Vanessa. I want to encourage those listening in on the replay. Like, we have to learn to still and trust. Yes, and it's a process because we live in a society that wants more, faster, stronger right now. We live in a even faster than a microwave society. So when God is saying, is having us to go against the grain, but guess what? The product of that will stand out. See, when we are still and we do those things, Vanessa, like, it might be slow right now, but there will be a time when the people who seem like they're moving so fast are going to be coming to you asking for support and asking for help because they're trying to figure out, well, how are you able? The same thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They'll be looking at you later like, well, how are you able to stay at peace with this going on? And how were you able to manifest such wealth and such abundance? It's because of my stillness. It's because of my peace. And so that's what I want to encourage you all with tonight. And, Vanessa, I thank you so much for coming on and the young lady that was on earlier and everyone that's going to listen to the replay. And even if whatever happens, guys, I'm going to do this because this is what God told me to do. And I encourage you, even if people aren't supporting you, even if everybody has turned their back on you, if you know that this is what God has told you to do, I want you to go forward in it. I want to read Proverbs 18 and 16. I'm going to read this and I'm going to close out for the night. I got some things I need to work on and I need to go to bed so I can start early in the morning. Proverbs 18 and 16. Vanessa, I want you to read this. Any replay viewers, I want you to read this. It says, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Think about this now. Your gift makes room for you and brings you before great men. Your gift, the gift God has gifted you with, not your talents. Your gift makes room for you and brings you before great men. So don't despise your gift. My gift is speaking. My gift is encouragement. I love to do things like that. I have been learning that I have to trust God and I have to seek God and what it is that I need to do. But I don't need to let anything hold me back from sharing my gift. Because when I share my gift, it ignites others to do the same in their gift, in their lives, and fulfilling their purpose. And I want to encourage you, Vanessa, and everyone that's listening on the replay. There is a special, great place that has already been prepared for you here on earth. David said in Psalm 27, I would have fainted unless I had seen the goodness of the Lord in the land of the, not the dead, in the land of the living. What does that mean? God wants us to experience heaven on earth. Our gifts have already made room for us. Do you think our gifts have made room for us in a place of turmoil or strife? No, our gifts have made room for us in a place of peace and prosperity. But it's for whosoever will. Are you willing to take the steps? Are you willing to make the sacrifice? If you want to have the baby, are you willing to share your body and get pregnant and go through the things that are involved in the pregnancy so that you can birth out that life? And it's the same thing with your purpose. Are you willing to go through the steps that it takes to birth out these gifts and do those things? And if it's already out, to prune them and hone them and specify them and specialize them, like is the word I'm trying to use. So remember, your gift make room for you. And it's already brought you before great men. You need to rise to the occasion. You, Vanessa, me, everyone listening in on the replay. Don't forget to heart this up and share with your followers. I thank you so much for the hearts, Vanessa. You have a lot to do with how I reach my 100,000 mark. And I really appreciate you. And I appreciate the love and energy that you put in the atmosphere. And remember, do not be weary in well-doing, because you will reap what you sow if you faint not. I think that's Galatians chapter 5 or 6. I think it's Galatians chapter 6. But if you do not be weary in well-doing, because you will reap if you faint not. So I'm going to go. I'll be back on tomorrow. I'll be scoping with you guys. And remember, these are the heart scopes. This is a heart check. I do heart talk. I'm your heart coach. I'm Adelaide Brown with Be Blessed Daily, and you all have a good night. Good night, Vanessa. Blessings to you and your family. All right, y'all have a good one.